Welcome to Star Citizen and the Drake Cutlass Black Ship Guide. In this modular guide, we will go into detail about one of the most popular and useful ships in Star Citizen, the Drake Cutlass Black. The Cutlass Black, or Cutty, was introduced in Alpha 1.0, but was extensively reworked in Alpha 3.0 and has since found a permanent place in many hangars. We examine step by step why the Cutty is so popular and where its strengths and weaknesses lie. And as in every guide, you can jump directly to the parts that are of interest to you or which you would like to see again, using the timestamps in the video. But first of all, a big thank you to the true ladies and gentlemen who make this video possible with their support as Patreons, channel members or Twitch subscribers. Thank you! We start with the exterior and the technical data before we move on to the interior, the combat and usage possibilities, and finally to a conclusion. The Cutlass Black is classified as a medium fighter as well as a medium freighter, and with a length of almost 38 meters, a width of 27 and a height of 12, it has quite large dimensions for a fighter. Combat speed is rather manageable at 165 meters per second, although maneuverability is in the middle range here. As a Size 3 ship, the Cutlass series makes use of medium-sized 2 components, whereby we find a standard civilian configuration. Here we recommend successfully changing the components for combat to military components. The multifunctional cargo hold offers space for 46 SU cargo units or even a selection of various small category vehicles, as well as 6 drop seats. However, we will look at the cargo hold in more detail. The Cutlass Black is permanently available for $100 in the standalone version, as well as in-game, for just under 1.4 million Alpha UEC at New Deal in Lowville. With a crew of up to 3 players, the Cutty offers extensive multi-crew capabilities. After we also find some amenities such as beds, weapon lockers and stowage facilities. The Cutlass series can access 4 Side 3 hardpoints for the pilot, as well as 2 Side 3 hardpoints for the crewable turret in the Black version. In the standard version, the pilot armament is equipped with 2 Size 2 laser repeaters and 2 Size 2 ballistic gatlings, which is particularly appealing to beginners. In this way, we achieve a respectable 1700 DPS in standard and 722 DPS for the turret. For PvE combat, however, we recommend the fixed loadout with laser cannons, which only achieves 985 DPS but deals a very powerful 600 alpha damage. Not yet usable, but available, is a dedicated tractor beam in the rear area of the Cutlass Black, which will significantly increase its application possibilities in the future. The Cutty also has 2 side gates and an accessible rear ramp. The weapon hardpoints are located more centrally in the middle of the ship, but we like to lose a hardpoint quickly, especially on the front outriggers, as these only offer a few hit points in combat. The combination of 4 Side 3 hardpoints, the manable turret and the powerful missile armament make the Black a serious opponent. With the 6 Size 2 and 6 Size 3 missiles, we achieve a very respectable damage potential of 33k damage. In the interior, we find space for the pilot in the cockpit and for the co-pilot directly behind. Here, the seats move upwards after boarding, bringing us into the cockpit for a better overview. Without an intermediate door or barrier, we enter the crew lounge, where we find weapon compartments, 2 beds, access to the manned gun turret, 2 lockers and the airlock door for the cargo hold. As it is typical for Drake, we find little luxury or any cladding at all on the walls, but limit ourselves to puristic functionality. A ship for tough guys. However, there is also a lot of empty space, especially in the middle of the room, which we cannot actively use. If necessary, only delivery crates or other portable objects can be placed here. Through the airlock door, we reach the cargo hold in the rear, which has two large side doors as well as an accessible rear ramp. We also find 6 drop seats placed directly at the exit, which already makes the Cutlass Black a very inexpensive and no less usable dropship. Via the drivable ramp, we can accommodate vehicles up to a Rock or Cyclone class. But let's take a closer look at the various uses of the multifunctional cargo hold. Because in addition to smaller hoverbikes, the Cutlass Black also accommodates the most diverse combinations of several small-sized vehicles. A Rock DS or a Rover, however, is out of the question because the axis width is too narrow. And of course, we can also load 46 SUs. Another advantage are the additional 6 drop seats, which again significantly increase the transport and deployment possibilities of the Cutty. Not to forget the possibilities offered by the large side gates. But the Cutlass Black is not only a medium freighter, it is also a dedicated medium fighter, whereby we distinguish here between fighting alone, solo, and fighting with the crew, using the turret. Solo, we can fall back on 4 size 3 hardpoints, whereby we strongly recommend, especially the ballistic components, to exchange them for energy weapons in the PvE area. And especially for larger opponents up to hammerheads, fixed weapons are then clearly preferable to the weaker gimbal variants due to the higher damage outputs. In combination with high-quality military ship components, hammerheads are also feasible, but not easy due to the very limited defensive capacities. The Cutlass Black, on the other hand, shows its full strength with a man-at gun turret. Here we have 2 more side 3 hardpoints to fall back on, and the turret can usually be used very effectively thanks to its good positioning and high range of action. This means that small and medium-sized enemies in particular are usually history at the first approach. However, the Cutlass series also has a disadvantage in comparison as a medium fighter, because despite its expansive size and limited maneuverability, it can only fall back on one single medium shield generator, whereby the hit points, especially on the front outriggers, are only manageable. So we like to take a few hits, especially with several enemies, and should we then lose an engine or an outrigger, we are usually unable to maneuver and are thus quite quickly customers of a premium medical treatment. As a pilot, it is therefore advisable to take care to avoid enemy fire as much as possible and not to seek direct confrontation with our single shield. Because then the Cutlass can use its good firepower and of course its good missile armament. Hammerheads, especially outside a dense atmosphere, can then be taken out. However, the Black is particularly effective against enemies including very high-risk targets such as Valkyries, Constellations, Freelancers or Starfarers. In conclusion, the Cutty offers very high combat performance for a mid-range multifunctional ship, although the limited defensive capabilities must be taken into account. But even outside of combat, the Cutlass series offers another special feature. First and foremost, the rotatable main engines. Unlike many other ships, it is possible to point the ship's main engines downwards, which enables enormously strong vertical thrust movements in the atmosphere. However, this can also be very profitable in empty space, as it gives us a completely different tactical opportunity to use our thrust power in combat. But let's move on to the atmosphere flight characteristics, as well as the conclusion of the Drake Cutlass Black. Thanks to the variable main engines, the Cutty offers very good flight characteristics in the atmosphere. All through, we only achieve a moderate top speed. The Black remains controllable at all times and, above all, predictable to steer. As a conclusion, the Cutty offers a lot of ship for comparatively little money. After all, at $100, it offers significantly more functions and possibilities than most other ships. Cargo, vehicle transport, multi-crew gameplay, good combat capabilities, a future tractor beam, as well as a low maintenance make the Cutlass Black an absolute recommendation if you want to use many possibilities with one ship.